Flight path 23.
Hey, it's Vas here from Aussie RC Playground and welcome to my review of the FMS 1.5 meter P-47 Razorback. As always, let's kick this off with specs, and of course the aeroplane has a 1.5 meter wingspan. It is 1270 millimeters long. Flying weight is 3.7 kilos. Motor size is a 4258 460 kV. Prop is a 14 by 8 4-bladed prop. It has a 70 amp ESC. Battery recommended is around about a 5000 milliamp 6S. Servos, we have 6 17 gram servos and 3 9 gram Metal Gear digital servos. Retracts, yes, of course they are pre-installed and they use Oleo landing gear struts. And you're going to need at least a 6-channel radio, depending of course on how you're going to be setting up the aeroplane. Now CG on the P-47 is pretty much locked at somewhere between 90 to 95 millimeters. Now when I say it's locked, it's really because of the way that the battery tray is designed in this aeroplane. Unlike other aeroplanes where you can perhaps move the battery a little bit further forward or move it further back to really get the CG right, this one uses like a sliding locking mechanism. So the battery tray actually comes out of the aeroplane, you strap your battery to the tray and then lock it back into place. So the only way that you can really get the CG wrong is by using a battery pack that's way too heavy for the nose of the plane or too light. And of course then you're going to have to counter that by adding some additional weight on the front of the plane or the tail of the plane to make sure that it's correct. For me personally, I was using a couple of different batteries, the HRB 5000 milliamp 50C and the Ovonic 5200 milliamp 50C. Both of these fitted in the tray perfectly and they balanced out the CG just right. So no additional weight was required with those batteries, and I'm sure there's plenty of others out there that would have sufficed and done the job just as well. Now assembling the P-47 is actually pretty easy. However, there is a little bit of gluing that you will need to do, but it's very minor and it's really more for the smaller details of the aircraft. In the tail, there are 4 screws, 2 on either side, that kind of secure the horizontal stabilizer, and I believe from memory there's also a spar that goes in between there. Then you just connect up your controls and you're pretty much set to go with the tail section. The main wing has 4 screws that are actually screwed in internally, so inside the fuselage. You screw those on and that pretty much attaches your main wings. There's a huge spar of course that goes in there as well, and the wings clip on and off relatively easily in this aircraft, which is kind of important because this is such a big and bulky aircraft that I have to pull it apart every time I want to put it in the car. Now the only other gluing that you really need to do is for these kind of brackets here that hold these tanks and the little guns and the little antenna on the other wing. You got to glue those into place. Now the tanks are removable, they do come off, as you can see here, they clip on and off, and these guys just slide on and off with the brackets that are already pre-installed. So you just got to slide them on. You can fly with them or without them, and the same goes for the bottom tank here. So probably give yourself, I don't know, somewhere between 45 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on how experienced you are and how you want to set the plane up. But I reckon, for most people, probably somewhere around about an hour should be pretty standard. And then of course you're going to spend some time kind of programming everything into your radio and so forth. So yeah, that's pretty much it for assembly. Pretty simple, a little bit of gluing, not too much, and it goes together fairly quickly. Okay, so now for my favorite part of the review, which is of course pilot feedback. And I gotta say, when I bought this plane, I wasn't quite sure what to expect. I'd seen a couple of reviews on YouTube and I thought, you know what, it looked kind of cool. I'm gonna give it a go. And warbirds are always been sort of known for being a little bit difficult to fly. They have bad stall tendencies and so forth. I gotta say, this plane doesn't really have too much of that. At least I didn't allow that to happen when I was flying the aircraft. This flies just amazing. For starters, it's got a ton of power. It's not going to be the fastest aircraft you're ever going to fly, but it gets up there, it's in the mid 100 kilometers an hour mark, so it does get pretty quick. But overall, this flies amazing. My maiden flight went super smooth. I needed to just do a little bit of trimming, and after that, I was super confident with the plane. And that's the thing with this aircraft, is that as soon as it was in the air, I felt very comfortable flying it. I never felt like it was twitchy or that I had to, you know, adjust something or move something around. The only thing that I had to do was add a little bit of elevator mix for the flaps. Now, if I remember correctly, my flaps, stage 1 is at 25% and my elevator is at 8%. Stage 2 flaps, which is your landing flaps, I've got it set at about 70% and my elevator is about 18 from memory. So you do need to add a little bit of elevator mix, and that's really the only, I suppose, downside that may take you a couple of flights to get right, depending on, of course, you know, your setup and your radio and so forth. So other than that, this thing just flies awesome. It comes into land, I mean, on grass takeoffs, it's got huge wheels, it's got suspension. It comes into land super smooth. You know, on a calm day, you could almost let the last bit of landing just come in dead stick. You don't want to come in too slow, of course. I haven't really tried it, but if you slow this down too much, you know, with the big, thick, bulky wings that it has, it's probably going to stall on you. So you do need to fly it in. But the beauty of it is that it does have a little bit of weight, has a bit of mass to it. So when it touches down on a grass runway, it just, you know, the weight of the plane kind of pushes the plane down and slows down well enough. So don't be afraid to sort of fly it in and just enjoy it. It's actually a puppy dog in the air. It really is. I don't have any gyros or anything like that in the aircraft. I fly it, you know, pretty much standard with just a basic receiver, and it flies amazing. Even on the windy day, it flies absolutely amazing. And yeah, pretty happy with this purchase. As I said earlier, my only complaint is that I have to take the wings off every time I want to transport it because it is so big and bulky. And you know, even recently I bought myself a station wagon thinking that I could fit this thing in here in the car without taking the wings off. But I've tried it a couple of times and I just can't get it in there. I have to take at least one wing off to get the plane in the car. So that's the only annoying thing, but that's no fault of the plane. I just need a bigger car. So that's pretty much it for pilot feedback. So that pretty much wraps up my review of the FMS 1.5 meter P-47 Razorback. I'm going to leave you now with a full flight demo, as I always do. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you're new to the channel and you want to see more of these reviews and various other RCs that I review on the channel, be sure to subscribe. Don't forget to hit that like button before you go, and check out the video description down below. I'll have links in there to where you can get one of these here in Australia, and of course links to the FMS website where you can go and check out some more information that perhaps you might be interested in or I've missed here. And of course to my social media pages where you can get a little bit of a glimpse behind the scenes, and you know, you can keep a couple of steps ahead of what goes on here on YouTube. I thank you all very much for watching, and I'll be speaking to you all next time.
Gear up.
Perfect.
Flight pack 23.3 volts. High rate. Flight pack 22.5 volts. Mid rate. Flight pack 23.3 volts. Flight pack 21.9 volts. Flight pack 22.6 volts. Flight pack 22.8 volts. Landing flaps, flight pack 22.7 volts. Flaps up. Flight pack 21.5 volts.